Hey there, it's Will here. I'm going to talk about the markets again and a few of the stronger sectors. And you can find stocks within those sectors if you want to buy stocks instead. But in my last video, so let's just look at the markets. So this is the Russell 2000. In my last video, in a previous video, I was showing that this was in a consolidation sort of stage, and then it broke out. A lot of times once you break out, it'll pull back. But what I was concerned about was this declining price percent oscillator, or MACD. So that's the momentum. But this is on a daily chart. So even if it crosses down, it may not be down for a long period of time. But I didn't really like, so I look at all the markets together. Like if most of them are down and one of them is okay, it's not a great scenario. So if we look at the Dow Jones, like in terms of the price and where it's located above the moving averages, that looks fine. But we had this cross of the MACD here. And so today we can see, sometimes it'll start out, like you see here previously, when you see a wick like this, it went up and it got pushed down, and then today it's down again. So even though you had a little bit of a bump here, and then it's not a guarantee, especially when you see declining MACD. So that kind of helps to show, like, okay, don't just jump right in because there's an up candle. But if you're not in the markets, but when we look at the S&P 500, I mentioned it's near a high and it wasn't looking that bad. But again, flat. I mentioned yesterday or whatever that it was a flat or a bit of a crossover with the momentum. And then the one that was looking decent was the Nasdaq, although the MACD was crossing or flat with the moving average of that indicator. But so in terms of price and everything, you had to pull back and it's starting to go up again. So nothing majorly looking bad. It's just locally, like if you're going to get in, you have this a bit of a downturn there. So because the other markets are looking bad, or going down a little bit, that doesn't give me confidence when just one market is hanging in there. So I am a little bit nervous, just generally speaking. So that's the overall market sentiment. Like I said, there's nothing major. Like we haven't broken down even below the 21 exponential or the 50 or anything, but just a current a bit of a decline there. There's some concerns with inflation, obviously, and differences in opinion between inflation being transitory or longer term, of course, and so that's going to depend on what happens in the markets. But from there, what you can do. So I've got a list of various sector ETFs that I mostly focus on. Like there's a ton of ETFs. If you want to just look at all the Americans, you click on this arrow and you can click ETFs, and that'll be all the ETFs. But I've sort of picked and chosen ones that I like. And you can rank them by change, but that's just like the current day change. Another way to rank is the price percent oscillator slope. And that is basically the current momentum. And last video, when I showed you, you right click and you say edit. Oh yeah, if you want to get TC2000, you can check out the link in the description. It'll help me out, help my channel, and help yourself out. A free trial or $25 off your subscription. I've got the gold plan and real-time US data, so I can see the real-time stock data pricing. Last time I had the wrong, I had like a MACD, so I just took the MACD from today and I subtracted the one yesterday. But this one uses price percent oscillator. So when you divide by the price here and the moving average, you get more of a value that's indexed, and you can compare from one asset to another. So MACD is dependent on the price of the current asset, so the values will be quite different. But this kind of makes it all related to 0, 1 type thing. So it's a bit more comparable from one asset to another. But so if you want, pause the video and put that in to your into your program. But there's different ways you can sort. You can sort on relative strength. You can sort whatever you want. You have to add a column. So you could say insert a column, and if it's a value or a condition. So if you have a condition, like over here, I got check marks. So if I only want to buy when the 21 EMA is above the 50, I can just put a condition here. I'll show it to you. But I just say the exponential 21 is above the 50. And then I put a couple prices here so I don't get like really cheap stocks or whatever, and low volume ETFs or whatever. So then you can sort by that. So that's a condition versus a value, which is like a number. So if we look at the PPO, what I wanted to point out was because the market's a little dicey and worries about inflation, some of the things that are doing well are gold and commodities. So if we look at, obviously, coffee is Joe, soybeans is just breaking out of a downtrend here, still stuck just below the 200, but that's a potential. Cane has been in a flat period here. It may start to break out again. Hedge, I don't really like the looks of that chart, but obviously this is a bear ETF, so it may start to come up if the markets start to suck. But you can see that the 200 is flattening out here, and the 50 is starting to come up above, and so all the moving averages are close together. So we'll see what happens when that, if anything happens with that one. But RJA is a commodity index in agriculture, and that looks really nice in terms of its chart. Wood is starting to, it's been in this down. It was like super high, and it came back, and you can start to see, the moving averages are sort of aligning. But the main things, like I said, the gold. And if you want to buy gold, you can also get the gold miners. So that's the larger miners. There's also smaller ones. You've got like SIL is silver as well, breaking out, bounced off the 50. Now it's stuck at the 200. But if it gets past there, that could be a good sign. And SIL-J is the junior miners. Yeah, here it is. GDXJ is the junior. So it's right just above the 200. So those are the kind of things that are looking decent in terms of like if inflation kicks in and the markets have some issues. The interesting thing is when there was a crash in March of 2020, everything drops, like crypto, gold, everything. There's a liquidity crash. Everybody, like a lot of stuff is hedged quite a bit, or like leveraged. So a lot of crypto sells off quite a bit, gold sells off. But then when things get back up to normal, the gold went up quite a bit. Let me just see if I can show you that. So if we go to GLD, that's the actual gold. I'll just go back to the weekly. So let's see here. Yeah, right there. I'm going to use the daily, but if we go back, we had this drop. And then, so you have that initial drop, and then you see how much this thing went up. Gold went up 35% in a few months, 6 months there. And then the market starts to do well, and then it sells off. And it's kind of surprising because there's been so much borrowing and printing, and we had a little bit of a spike here, but a lot of these spikes sell off again. So you can draw lines like at the top. I don't know. It's not quite. So you sort of pop out above the channel. It doesn't really last. So people are probably used to getting burned quite a few times. So we'll have to watch and see what happens with that one. And the other one is the platinum and Palladium. Big downtrend, crossing up over the 50. Still, has a ways to go. It could break the 200. But so yeah, a lot of commodities, precious metals are doing quite well. So that gives you some ideas. If you want to look at individual stocks, you've got Pan American Silver, You've got Wheaton. You can just go through. And the nice thing is when you click on any of these, you get the chart in TC2000. So this is a great way to find stocks within, like China, if you wanted to. You can sort whatever, Pinduoduo. DQ is the, you got JD.com. You can sort by percent change, but that's not doing too good. So that's a nice feature with TC2000, is to open up the component elements of a ETF or whatever, if there is. So for example, the junior miners, you can open that up and you could look at stuff that's in there. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you want to get TC2000, it's awesome software. I use it every day, quite a few hours a day. Check out the link in the description and you can get $25 off. It helps out my channel. I get a bit of a kickback if you purchase. It doesn't cost you any more and it helps support this channel. And I highly recommend this program, and I love this program for stocks and ETFs. And I've talked about alerts and watch lists and all sorts of things, formulas and conditions you can scan for. So hopefully you're getting use out of it and you'll be productively and profitable with this program. Okay guys, we'll talk to you in the next video.